I grew up with music and it's always been in the family, and I don't remember a time when I didn't have music there.
So-called Mr. Rock and Roll, he's dancing on his own again, talking on his phone again to someone who tells him that his balance is low. He's got nowhere to go, he's on his own. Well, I think
the reason was it was somewhere to sing, because I like making music. I've always liked making music, and the idea of a folk club in any case is that it doesn't matter how good or bad you are, and you know, I mean, obviously you want to be as good as possible. You don't want to be making mistakes all the time, though I do. But the point is, nobody's judging you, hopefully. And so you go along to make music because you enjoy it, and you just hope people like it. And if they don't,
far away and say, I wish I knew you. I wish I knew you before.
The Wandering Minstrels Folk Club, as it was, is basically a product of the Mike Barrett Music Trust, and that was set up after my partner Mike Barrett died last year. So the idea being, it's wandering, it goes around the different areas, different venues in Rotherham and Sheffield, so that different people can attend.
Although her voice is silent now, we must go forward and not be bowed to ensure that her legacy will be, oh, justice untainted and free.
About folk music, there's a bunch of weirdos in beards going around.
I've never felt anything but a folkie since I first stepped in. So I am a folkie, so a folkie without folk music is a fish out of water.
It is all about people, and folk music represents various times in people's lives, and what other people, as from an entertainment point of view, also what people can recollect, you know.
Well, I have friends in London town, the finest ever seen. And I have friends in Swansea, and I've sung in Aberdeen. We're old Labour, good and true, and I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to fight this fight right through, and we'll have a baby.
Folk music, it's got to grow on you.
But it's a general friendly atmosphere you walk into. You're welcomed immediately, and you don't get that just walking into a pub. So to me, the folk tradition is a lot to do with keeping a community and keeping friendships going.
There's a poem. Can I do a poem? Poem? Collapse of a family firm. I work for this family firm, body, body, body and body. The 4 directors were everybody, anybody, somebody and nobody, and were all sons of Billy Body, the founding body, the late body, who's now a dead body. Everybody knew there were financial problems, but nobody knew where the money went. It was anybody's guess.
She was a destroyer, and in much the same way as the current government. I mean, I think the current coalition will go down in history as being a dreadnought, the dreadnought that Thatcher would have absolutely loved to have been. It took her 10 years. It's only taken her 9 months.
Well, slash and burn, weren't it? Close them down and flog them off. All the crown jewels, all your water, gas, electric, and look at what we're having to pay for them now. And we used to own them.
Miserable. I really mean that when it came to voting in this election, and I knew that we were very likely to get a return of something like it, if ever I'd felt like emigrating, disappearing off the face of the earth even, just, you know, going to the moon, it was a horrible thought, because they were miserable years.
Now,
Oh,
what about
don't
Christy,
talk
have you
about
heard
that.
Christy Moore's song about
I want to mind it for
when he's trying to
30
come off the
years.
drink? There's a song, I forget what it's called. He's coming off the drink and he's trying all this, and then he says trying everything to get off the drink, and then he goes to sleep one night and he has a dream that he's in bed with Maggie Thatcher, and he says and when I woke up I knew that I'd never ever touch a drop again.
The city now doth like a garment wear the beauty of the morning, all bright and glittering in the smokeless air. So William Wordsworth, poet of 200 years ago, wrote about London's Westminster Bridge as it was then. He might have been speaking of Sheffield today, for the city's smokeless air gives it a justifiable claim as one of the cleanest industrial cities in Europe, thanks to a smoke control policy started in 1959. Gone is the pre-war smoke and grime, even though steel-making is still at the heart of the city's heavy industry.
I don't think every folk song has to be historical or historically correct, but I think the history is important in that we keep the old songs alive, and there are songs, whether they're old songs or new songs, that tell stories about the past. History of an area, the history of a trade, like the cotton mills, for instance, the steelworks, history of politics. Yes, I think that's very important, and probably only likely to be kept alive in music through folk music.
It's a record that you don't get. It's a record that travels from person to person and generation to generation. If it's one of those songs that people carry on singing, it fixes in your mind. And government records don't do that.
It empowers them. It keeps them rich. B, it also preserves identity. If the system had its way, we would be a lot worse off than we are, I'm sure.
It's rocky round Atlantis, oh, it's lost beneath the sea. The grave of the unknown soldier, and the cry of your banshee. Who was the man in the iron mask, was Jack the Ripper set free? But ask them always down the goal, it's still a mystery. And if I could have built a wall around old Donegal, the north and south to keep them out, my God, I build it so. Casinos, chicken ranches, I'll legalize them all. With our own Las Vegas in the hills of Donegal. Yeah, Las Vegas in the hills of Donegal.
It's very important because for people that's coming into it now, it's telling them what's happened in the past in some ways and what might be coming in the future. I mean, they're not always about the past. If you listen to some of Bob Dylan's songs, they're not always about the past. He was thinking about what's coming ahead.
So the working class aren't daft. We're still around. We have a ways of getting release of our fears and things, but we've got to do more than that. Song is one thing, pen is mightier than the sword, but it helps. It does hold us together.
So I think in England we have to continue the tradition in order to show that not only is there, albeit a minority, but people who believe that it's an important thing to have, but that we want to pass it on to our kids, and we want it to develop, we want it to grow, we want them to believe that folk music is not something other people do, it's not silly, it's part of their own tradition.
I don't think it needs maintaining in that sense. I think it's there and will always be there, and be in punk music or garage, down to songs that are written in what some people call the tradition. it's all got a role to play.
I just would like to think, I don't know whether it'll ever happen, but I'd like to think that in a few generations' time we might start seeing this. I don't know, we used to sing early one morning at school. Early one morning, we didn't know what we were singing. You know, and then when we grew up a little bit more, we only sang hymns. We didn't sing folk songs anymore, and then we stopped singing anything. I think they should carry on promoting these things through school, and it's important, again, for the children and the growing up young people to know what their real history is about. And their real history is written in the folk song.